All right, day 2 of two-step equations. Now, I gave you some of the interesting ones at the end of your homework last night to see if you would know what to do. Sometimes we start off equations that look like this. Okay. So that's not an equation that you or we have experienced. That's not even an equation yet, per se. Going back to lesson 1-3 here. Okay, again, going all the way back in the fall. What do we have up on the board? Yes, it's an equation to a certain form, but what do we got to do, Zach? Okay, so parentheses. So we want to add m plus 3, yes? I see some head nodding yes and some heads nodding no. Yes, yes. I see some yeses and some nos, about equal parts. Chase, what do you want to do, buddy? What's that? What do you want to do? So we want to do M3M? Come on, there's something up there that's listen, when it comes to the air test, you're going to be hammered with this because they know that you're not well versed in this. This is not difficult. Chen, what do we do? It's classic distributive property. Again, as we were taught, this is you, this is the neighborhood. You've got to distribute yourself to the houses in the neighborhood before you do anything. So again, there's multiple concepts here, let alone multiple steps in the equation. We are adding to or trying to further your knowledge in this world and what we do. Okay, so if we do this, now we get 2m plus 5. Six. It's multiplication. Why? Because you have a number next to a set of parentheses. Okay, now we have it in some form of equation form that you should recognize. Right? So again, we're doing something before we even get into solving a two-step equation. Okay, what are we going to do next? We should know by now. Bucky? All right, very good. And what property is that called, Thatcher? No, sir. It is not. It's what? Yeah, it's subtraction. We're subtracting. Come on. All right, look here. Oh, Nelly. Now, to those of you that understand math well, that already should look funny to you. Why should it look funny to you? I mean, it should. The more you do math, you'll find out. Ready? M doesn't have a value? Well, 2's in front of it. Oh, we're not timesing anything. We're not timesing anything. It's a multiplication equation, I would agree with you, but how do we undo a multiplication equation? We divide, right? Okay, so why should this look funny to you? Because one side's zeroed out. That's odd. Okay, when it comes to equations, think about the balance scale. all of a sudden we got this now, right? Here's 2m and here's 0. We got nothing over here. Okay. So obviously when we do this, right? Max, what's the 2 called? Which one? Any of them. The one in front of the M. Nope. Asa? It's called the coefficient. All right, so over here we're left with M is equal to what? What's 0 divided by 2? Is it? I'm just asking. Is it 0? Or is it something else? Michael, what do you want to say? Michael says 2. How many 2ers are there out there? Come on, Michael, raise your hand. You said 2. Sometimes you got to stand alone to be right. You know what I mean? How many 0s out there? How many honest people don't know? All right, good. We have some honest people. All right, the answer is 0. Okay, so let's check this and then let's talk about this because we need to. All right, so we got our solution of 0. So we're going to check it. So 2, comma, I'm sorry, not comma, parentheses, 0 plus 3 is equal to 6. Two times 0, 0. 2 times 3 is 6, is equal to 6. Winner, winner. So let's go back up here. Quiz Monday. There's 1 point. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. There's 6. There's 7. Oh, we're up to 8 now. We said 8 to 10, 8 to 12. We're gaining steps. One problem. All right, so let's talk about this division thing real quick. Are these the same? Are these equal? Okay, why not? Which one's which? Or what's what? Children, come on, you're in high track math and we don't know what dividing by 0 is or means? This isn't good. Brady? Okay. Anybody else? Dean? Okay, so this was 0 in the problem, so this equals 2. Okay. Anybody else? Logan? I'm assuming the first one you mean is this one. That is correct. This is you going back to the beginning of school, not understanding the parts of division. Okay. What do I mean by that? What does the bottom number of a fraction mean? Come on, you're in high track math. All of your hands should be up. Bucky? Okay. You're right, but you're right. What does it mean though? What does the bottom number mean? We talk about pizzas all the time. We talked about how many pieces are in a hole? How many pieces are in a hole on the right? 0. You don't have any pieces. And we talked about the top part. It all depends on the question. It could be how many parts are shaded in, how many pieces of pizza are left, how many pieces they ate, whatever the question may be, right? Okay, so real simple. Somebody, the question might say, okay, take 2 pieces of pizza. Okay, how do you take 2 pieces of pizza when you don't have any? How do you take 2 pieces when you don't have any? You don't. Hence, it's undefined. You can't do anything when your denominator is a 0. It's undefined in mathematics. Moving on. All right. So we have x minus 2 divided by 4 equals 1. Now, I believe you did have one like this last night, I believe. And nobody asked the question. You know how to do it? Yes? No? Thank you for being honest, Chase. No, but nobody asked questions. You're just passing on through, aren't you? Okay, so the first question, you obviously have subtraction and division. Is that fair to say? And hopefully you're sitting there going, okay, well, what do I do first? Well, what you don't know is, and they don't always provide this. So listen, when you have more than one object on the top or on the bottom, right, in your numerator or denominator, right? So in this case, we have more, we have x minus 2. That's more than one thing on top in your numerator. And I don't know why they don't always put them. I truly don't. Maybe because, again, it's like the 1 in front of the x. It's everybody knows it. It's like universally known that when you have more than one, there is an invisible grouping symbol that groups them together, which means that they travel together. They go together. You can't split them up. Does that make sense? They don't always put parentheses there. Okay, again, it's like an unwritten rule in mathematics. Parentheses encompass more than one item in the numerator or in the denominator. Make sense? Okay, so knowing that information, maybe that'll help you with your decision. What do we want to do first? Because again, what's the goal in algebra? To get the variable by itself. Cohen, what do you want to do? Of? Correct, sir. Very good. Absolutely right. We are going to take the reciprocal of 4 over 1. That is correct, sir. Oops, why did I do that? Very good. And now these cancel out. And now we're left with x minus 2 equals 4. Now, look how easy that equation is. As long as you know what to do. Look what comes out of that. X minus 2 equals 4. Now you're going backwards in the sense it's a one-step equation now. It should be super simple, right? We add 2 to both sides, and our solution makes itself. So if we go to check it, right? So we had 6 for our x, our solution. Okay. And again, and I didn't say this, but I would recommend if you run across something like this, I would put parentheses up there. You're allowed to insert them. There's no rule that says you're not. Okay? Because again, we think with visual pictures. As I've always said, good problem solvers draw pictures. Insert something. Insert so you can see what it is. So you know that they are grouped. Okay? So, oops. Same thing down here. Group them. And now with that grouping symbol, you should know I got to follow the order of operations. I have to do parentheses first. And my check is complete. What about this? 32y plus 10 minus 2 equals 24. Ready? Yep, hang on right there. Okay, very good, sir. Now, yesterday we added them. They were all the same, pluses, all pluses or all minuses or whatever the case may be. Okay, well, sometimes you don't have that. Now you have a positive number minus a negative. Well, you have to do the math. That's like first grade math. 10 minus 2. Okay, they're two constants. And they are also called like terms. Okay, so there's a lot of things that you got to keep in the front of your head here while you do these that you've already been taught once again. Yeah, there's a lot of things that should be running through your head that you should be looking for. So now we're left with 32y plus 8 is equal to 24. Now, this is an easy one, I'll be honest with you, in the sense that the number is positive. Remember when I asked the other day about how well versed are you on the negative numbers, and we weren't well versed on negative numbers? So if the negative is larger, then your answer is going to be a negative. Right? We'll do one of those here in a minute. So we're going to subtract 8, right? 32y is equal to 16, right? See where this is going? What's y equal to? Okay, on. Okay, so you can either do that, you can do 5 to whichever, doesn't matter to me. Right? You don't always have to get whole numbers as a solution. You can get numbers that are less than 1. Now, we're not getting answers that are negatives at the moment. We'll save that for another time. Okay? But I want to make sure that you understand that you can get answers that are less than 1. Everything's not a whole number. Okay? And if we go, obviously, we go check it. We always got to check. Right? Now you can do the fraction thing, you can do the decimal thing, whatever you want. Right? So we got half of that is 16 plus 10 minus 2. 26 minus 2 is equal to 24. 24 is equal to 24. Okay, so let's go back. There's 1 point, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we're up to 10 for one problem. Woo. All right, do you want to see anything else in regards to those? Do you want to see another fraction one with something on top? Do you want to see another distributive property one? Or are you all good? Mason? Sure. Okay, we got 7 is equal to, on top, 5 plus a, divided by 4. Again, what I would do right now, I would do this. And I do it when I solve mine. Just so that I know. I mean, I already know that, obviously, but I do it just as a visual. So I know that they are grouped. Okay. Cohen, what are we going to do? Because I know you know. Very good, sir. Nice job. Very good explanation, too. Multiply by the reciprocal of 4. Very good. All right, so we do one of those. What you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Those cancel out based on our chapter 4. And now we come down to a very simple one-step equation. And there's our, that's what we think our solution is anyway. So if we plug that back in to check to make sure that we did it right, we have 7 is equal to 5 plus 23 divided by 4. 7 is equal to 28 divided by 4. And yes, 7 then is equal to 7. That is correct. Again, Monday on the quiz, when you hand it in, you should already know your grade, right? When you do the checks and it comes out like this, you already know what you got. All right, then the last, right? What about, remember did you have a picture last night? Yes, no? Yeah. And it said, I believe it said perimeter was 18. Ask you to write and solve an equation to find the value of x. Okay, so the first thing you got to know here before you begin is what? What's your thought process here? Before you even begin, you got to know. Oh, you don't have to get 18, Max. Oh, hang on. Stop. Oh, my head just exploded. What do you have to know first before you even begin the problem, Cohen? Yeah, how to find what? How to find what? No. You gotta know how to find perimeter. If they ask you to find the area, what do you gotta know? You gotta know the formula for the area, right? And then you start plugging in the numbers. This goes back to lesson 1.5. right? Using formulas. If you don't know how to find perimeters, see, you guys always jump to second step, third step down the road. I wouldn't get in the habit of that. What's our equation? Somebody just yell it out. What do you think? Michael, what do you think? Yes? Everybody good? Yes? Nope. Your equations cannot equal the variable. How can your equations equal the variable if that's what you're trying to find? Let me rephrase that. Maybe you can never have an equation equal to x. That's what you're trying to find. That's the solution. Okay? When you look at these, okay, let me give you a heads up. It doesn't matter what side of the equal sign it goes to, but I would say generally math people write it on the right. Whatever you're trying to find when they give you the total of something goes all by itself. Might want to write this down. And on the left side or right side, that is where your expressions are going to go. And then you're going to try to balance out the total by adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing our balance scale to make everything equal. So with that being said, our total is 18. That's going to stand alone. We're trying to find perimeter. Now we got a three-sided figure, 2x, and we can add them together, or 2x plus 7 plus 5 is equal to 18. Whichever one works. But I think Max said it, in Max's case, if you can recognize early on that, hey, I'm going to have to add like terms together. And now we get down to doing what we need to do mathematically. So now up here, here's the answer is not 3 here. You understand that? Because this is the question that they may ask. This is a great question. They might say, hey, what's the length of the base? Right? And on the air test, this is what it's going to be. And the first answer, I guarantee you, is going to be 3. And guess what? A lot of you are going to pick 3. Why? Which I get it. I understand why you picked it. Because, hey, that's the solution that we came up with. Okay, but again, you want to know why checks are important? Here's the reason why. What do you do with the variable? You plug it back into where it is in the problem. So maybe this will be, I don't know, I'm making things up. You plug that back in, 2 times 3 is 6 is the value, or the length of the base of the triangle. That's why checks are really important. Does that make sense? I know at this point I highly doubt that you value your checks, but I would get in the habit of it, especially when it comes to algebra. All right. Everybody good with everything? Any questions about anything? Going on. All right. Everybody's good. All right. So we have practice 7-4B. We're going to do 1 through 15, all of them. And then 19, 20, and 21. And I will release the pixel problem here in a minute. Okay. And you may get started.